Hi guys, it's Han here. Today we're going to check out a 2024 BMW X7. Thanks to BMW of Grapevine for providing the vehicle. Anyone who want to buy a BMW can contact them. Ask me for contact information. Welcome to subscribe my car reviews channel both in English and Chinese. Thank you for subscribing, liking, comment, sharing, and light up the bell. The current BMW X7 is its first generation model. First launched on the 2019 model, significant updates have been made for the 2023 model year. The 2024 models are basically the same as the 2023 models. Let's take the main selling model BMW X7 xDrive40i as an example. There is no difference in appearance and size from Model 23. If compared with the GLS, the X7 is slightly smaller than the GLS in terms of length, width, and wheelbase. The front suspension is a double wishbone structure and a multi-link structure in rear. Air suspension as standard. The main sales model of 2024 is still equipped with the BMW family's 3.0-litre inline 6-cylinder turbocharged engine equipped with an 8-speed automatic transmission and 48-volt light hybrid technology. All series are four-wheel drive models. The maximum horsepower has been increased by 40 horsepower after the 2023 update. Curb weight is 5,417 pounds or 2,457 kilograms. All series are equipped with a 21.9-gallon or 83-litre fuel tank. The EPA announced that the xDrive40i model's combined fuel consumption under combined operating conditions is 22 mpg or 10.69 litres per 100 kilometers. The vehicle we are checking out today is a vehicle on sale from the provider, the 2024 BMW X7. The front wheel is 275/40R22 and the rear is 315/35R22. It's optional with the Driving Assistance Package, M Package, Parking Assistance Package, Premium Package, and Climate Comfort Package. MSRP including shipping is $93545. The engine of this car comes from the Austrian plant, the transmission comes from the German plant, and the final assembly comes off the US plant. After this facelift, we can see that the biggest change in the X7 is its front face. The changes to the X5's front face are not so radical. The front face of the X7 has been changed to be consistent with the latest family style. This is also the family front face style that BMW has determined for the new 7 Series. Among them, the biggest change on the front is the design of the light group. The lamp unit has been changed from a relatively narrow shape to a split design. Above are the daytime running lights and turn signals. The main lighting is concentrated in the lower position. There is an air hole on the left and right sides. Except for some chrome plating on the grille and logo, the front face is all black decorative strips. There is no bumper protruding platform at the front. The most protruding position at the front is the front camera. You can see below the bumper that the design is relatively complex. The lines appear to be relatively strong and straight. The side shape of the 2024 X7 is not much different from before, and it has not changed as much as the front face. The side is still a relatively square shape. The front cabin is relatively slender. The cabin at the back is designed to be fuller. After the B-pillar, I feel that the difference from the X5 is relatively large, especially the width of the rear door is a bit exaggerated compared to the width of the X5 rear door. The color scheme of this car only has some metallic bright colors on the wheels on the side. Elsewhere, there are all gloss black trim strips. Only the front doors have touch unlocking and locking functions. The rear doors do not. It's equipped with soft close automatic doors. All 4 doors open at moderate angles, not exaggerated. The lower edge of the door does not cover the body. All 4 windows are double glazed. Using my height as a reference, I don't need any pedals to get in and out of this vehicle. But the height of this car is the highest limit that I don't need to use pedals. Any higher, I have to need pedals. All BMW X7 series come standard with 21-inch wheels, up to an extremely exaggerated 23-inch wheels as an option. This car has 22-inch wheels, exclusive to the M package style. The shape is quite complex. The height of comfort mode. The lowest body height. The max body height. The rear shape of the 24 model X7 is basically the same as that of the 23 model. After the facelift, we can see that the rear end of the X7 has not changed much. It's not even as big as the X5's rear modification. The rear is still a relatively full shape, which is to take into account the trunk and the headroom of third-row passengers. The color scheme at the rear includes both black and chrome decorative strips, which are hard to find in the entire car. The rear spoiler incorporates a high-mounted brake light, 2 small door frames on sides, the rear wipers. A chrome strip runs from left to right, dividing the taillight into 2 parts. The taillight lines after the facelift are tougher than before. The protrusion of the bumper platform is relatively large. The left and right exhausts are made straight out. The shiny metal frame of the exhaust feels more textured. Key for X7. The tailgate is still in the form of upper and lower double doors. The lower tailgate is lined with velvet, comfortable to sit on. The inside of the upper tailgate liner is all plastic with two lights on it, a storage for the triangle. Even with this size of the BMW X7, when its third row of seats is opened up, the trunk space is not large. The depth in the lower center is about a forearm and a half long. The depth above basically reaches its limit. When the third row of seats is folded down, we can see that the space is great. There are some buttons to adjust the seat on the left side. There are two shortcut keys. Select the maximum number of passengers and press this button, then all seats will be opened up. To pull the most luggage, press this and all the seats will be folded down. There is a light on the left and right bottoms. The button to adjust the height of the rear tail is at this position. 12V charger socket, light, first aid kit, and small pocket underneath. Open up the cover, a storage compartment underneath, which is lined with fleece. Very good. It can be seen that the original intention of the design here was a spare tire pit, but it has run-flat tires, so no spare tire. There's a trailer hitch here and a retractable curtain. This is performance when the second and third rows are both folded down to form a flap. No edges or pits, but the seat backs of the second row have a slight upward angle. The interior of the 2024 model is basically the same as the 2023 model. A relatively major update has been made on the 2023 model. One of the upgrade projects is to upgrade the screen to the family's curved screen, with a 12.3-inch LCD dashboard connected to a 14.9-inch central screen. The central screen has a curved design. It's tilted toward the driver's side. Pretty well done, which is also the latest universal part of the family. The previous iDrive 7 system has been updated to the iDrive 8. Turn the shift handle into a shift knob. The shapes of some decorative panels and air outlets are also consistent with the family. These are the same as the X5 we watched before. At the same time, we can also see many parts on the X7 which are not the latest common parts of the family. All four windows have one touch lift and lower functions. On the left side of the steering wheel are the streamlined light control buttons of the BMW family. There is a storage compartment underneath. The style of the air conditioning vents has also been redesigned. It has a heads-up display, the display area is relatively large, and the displayed content is relatively rich. I still have to praise BMW for this LCD instrument panel. Although the outer frame of the dashboard is also square, when I sit inside and adjust the seat and steering wheel to suit my position, no data displayed in the dashboard is blocked by the steering wheel. In the current automobile industry, this is a better designed dashboard with two connected screens. I hope other brands can learn from this. BMW does design from the user's perspective. It has 3 display modes. Adjust through the set of buttons on the right side of the steering wheel. Driving information is displayed in the middle area of the instrument panel. There is also front AR image, which is relatively clear. It has an M steering wheel. The steering wheel feels very consistent with the X5 we saw last time. It feels great in the hand, the steering wheel is very thick, and the leather is very delicate. Moreover, the steering wheel is not hard at all. It does feel soft when you hold it. The protruding shapes at 3 and 9 o'clock are very exaggerated, and it is very comfortable. The shortcut buttons on the left and right sides of the steering wheel are the common styles of the previous BMW family, but not the latest version of the current family. There are 2 large paddle shifters at the back. The lights have automatic on and off and automatic high beam functions. The front wipers have rain sensing function. Auto dimming interior rear view mirror with 3 garage switches. There is no glasses case or wide angle mirror, which are all the same as the X5. This screen is the same as the X5. Both the hardware and software are the latest version of the current family. The operating system is version 8.5 of the BMW family. In terms of screen hardware, both the clarity and screen response are much improved compared to previous screens. From a software perspective, you can see that more items are displayed and more interactive items are available. This screen has basically integrated most of the functions of the car. The main control list of the screen and the air conditioning controls are all placed at the bottom. Air conditioning adjustment, various functions, vehicle settings. Both iPhone CarPlay and Android Auto have wireless connection capabilities. The X7 also comes standard with BMW's digital key. This car has a panoramic view, reversing plus panoramic view, left rear blind spot, right rear blind spot, front view. It is consistent with the X5. After the X7 facelift, almost all the physical buttons in this area have been integrated into the central screen, leaving only some necessary buttons. Pushing open the cover, the inside looks more BMW. with 2 cup holders, a 12-volt socket, and a USB data exchange port. Let's take a look at this part. The difference is that the shift handle is removed and becomes a shift button. When using this button, I personally feel that it is not as comfortable as the handle. Secondly, the turn-off features of automatic start-stop function of the iDrive 7 system has been cancelled on the iDrive 8 system. There is still an automatic start-stop function, but you can't turn it off. Automatic start and stop are online at any time. This car has sport, comfort, and eco mode. The center armrest box opens left and right. The volume inside is not large. The velvet lining all around. There is a rubber pad underneath. A light and Type-C charger socket inside. Sitting in, except for some changes in the screen and central control, the overall feeling is not much different from the X7 before the facelift. The feeling in the front row is not much different from that of the X5. Now I have adjusted the seat to the lowest position so you can observe the space performance. Like the X5, when I adjust the seat to the bottom, it doesn't feel like I'm sinking in while driving. I still feel that the seat supports my body relatively high. The seats of the X7 feel similar to those of the X5 and they are quite comfortable. But its comfortable feeling is unique to BMW's medium and large cars. The seats will be much more comfortable and softer than the BMW in a small car. But it's not the feeling of a soft sofa. You can still feel that the body support is very good, similar to the feeling of a relatively advanced ergonomic chair. The 2 front seats are both power adjustable with 2 memory, and there are many adjustment items, including the extension of the seat cushion, the 4-way adjustment of the lumbar support, and the movement of the upper half of the seat back. All power adjustment. From the driver's side, you can adjust both the passenger seat and the rear seats. The materials used in the X7 are relatively good. In addition, this car has many optional parts. The materials used in this car feel quite good. The upper part is made of leather and has a wood grain decoration that feels very good. The lower part is a decorative panel with the X7 logo. The outer part of the plastic below also has a soft feeling. This feeling is still very good. The legs rest on the center console. Only a small strip in the middle is made of hard plastic. I wonder if you can see clearly. This plastic does not have any soft feeling, but my legs can seldom rest on the plastic part. The sound of the window operation is also relatively quiet. There is also noise reduction action at the moment when the window comes into contact with the window frame, which is very good. The materials used on the door are leather at the top, leather in the middle, wood grain decoration and some metal decorative strips, and plastic with a soft feel at the bottom. The cup holders and storage compartments on the door panels are relatively large. This car also uses suede material on the roof and pillars. The wood grain decorative strips, metal decorative strips and leather decorations that can be touched by hands and arms still feel very good. Sitting in the second row, the difference from the X5 is obvious. The second row of the X7 also has a heightening effect, and the line of sight in the second row is higher than that in the first row. There is no problem with space in the second row, including headroom and legroom. This seat is relatively far back. The second row of seats in this car is in the form of 3 seats, not 2 seats. But I think the form of these 3 seats is also comfortable. From the 2 seats on both sides, you can see that the seat cushions are relatively long. The middle one is slightly shorter. The padding material of the seats feels similar to that of the front seats. It also has better support but is not too soft. The second row of seats in this car can be power adjusted, including seat backrest folding and seat forward tilt. Foremost seat. The seat is the furthest back. Put it in the center. Maximum backrest elevation. The air conditioning areas of this car are divided very detailed. The front row air conditioners are divided into left and right zones. The second row can also be divided left and right. The third row air conditioning can also be adjusted individually, but it is not zoned. Calculated this way, the entire car has 5-zone air conditioning. The 2 second row seats have a 3-level heating function, but no ventilation function. The front seats are ventilated and heated. The steering wheel is heated. There are 2 Type-C charging ports and a 12-volt charger socket below. There is an expansion slot and a Type-C charging socket on each side of the front seat back. The central floor bulge is not too high. The curtain of the panoramic sunroof opens to here. There are also air conditioning vents on the B pillar, a reading lamp and lighting lamp on each side. The hooks are also quite complete. There is a set of curtain control switches on each of the second row doors. You can control the curtains on your own side, the curtains on the other side, and the curtains on the large moonroof and small moonroof of the third row. Also, no metal part on the window frames in the second row can be seen inside. The material used on the door panel is leather on the top, leather in the middle, metal strips and decorative panels, and softer plastic material on the bottom. There is a cup holder and a relatively large storage compartment on the door. The center armrest in the second row is high enough. There are 2 cup holders in the front and a storage compartment in the back. Now sitting in the third row, you can see that there is no difference between this facelifted X7 and the previous model. The space in the third row is completely sufficient for my height and body shape. I straighten up now, and you can see that my head and hair are no longer touching the ceiling. In terms of legroom, we just adjusted this seat to a slightly forward position from the back, not the farthest back position. My legs can also come in. The disadvantage of the seat is that the seat cushion is not high or long enough to support the legs well. My legs feel like they are curled up and squatting here. Even though its seat design is not impressive, the configuration of the third row is still quite impressive. The air conditioners in the third row can be adjusted individually, including the air supply mode, air volume, and temperature of the third row. The two seats in the third row of rear seats also have 3 levels of seat heating functions. There is also a small sunroof in the third row, which is designed in a very European style. Let's leave aside the durability and reliability of the vehicle for now. As for Japan cars, which have been cutting costs recently, I feel that the gap between Japanese cars and German or European cars is gradually widening in terms of careful design and user experience. There are 2 reading lights, air outlets, water cup holders in the third row, and a Type-C charging socket on each side. The third row is designed very seriously. The price of this car, and the fact that it is comparable to the GLS, which means that this X7 should be very comfortable. But the comfort of the BMW X7 is full of BMW flavor. It is a unique feeling of BMW in this luxury flagship class vehicle. Of course, it is a bit far-fetched to say that it is unique, because many later brands are imitating BMW's flagship comfort style. This kind of comfort is different from the excessive comfort of Mercedes-Benz GLS and Range Rover. Although the X7 also has air suspension, its ups and downs are relatively limited. It doesn't feel as heavy as the EV. X7 has a very full and distinctive toughness. Whether it is low speed or high speed, if you encounter a small road condition, the suspension can basically filter out most of the vibrations that can be transmitted to the cabin, leaving only a slight feeling and sound. When driving on smooth, undulating roads at high speed, you can feel the ups and downs comfortably, but it is indeed very restrained. What it does better is that it controls roll better when cornering quickly, which should be considered superior in this level. I feel that the cornering support is at least better than that of the GLS 450, but if compared with the X5, I think it should be because the X7 has a larger weight, or the designer did it intentionally. The overall feeling is not as flexible as the X5. Of course, the X7 is larger in size, and the feeling of integration of man and car is not as good as that of the X5. Another thing is that these 4 big wheels feel very stable when driving on the road, and it feels very secure when driving. A bit similar to the tank feeling of the W140 S-Class back then. In terms of power, this 3.0 engine performs relatively well on the X5. But frankly speaking, the matching on the X7 can only be said to be adequate. Normal acceleration is no problem. But if you have a desire to accelerate quickly, step on the accelerator deeply, and with the huge roar of the engine, the vehicle speed will also have corresponding feedback. However, compared with the 8-cylinder X7, the 6-cylinder one still has worse speed acceleration performance. The disadvantages in terms of power are that if you start from a standstill, or squirm at a slow speed, if you want to have good acceleration, you must apply hard on the accelerator. If you step on the accelerator shallowly or tap the accelerator pedal lightly, the body will appear to be lazy. Another one is when switching gears, such as switching from R to D or switching from D to R. After the gear switching is completed, you have to wait for a while. I feel that this waiting and reaction time are relatively longer. I don't feel this is so obvious on the X5. Also, this time the automatic engine start-stop function cannot be turned off, forcing you to turn off the engine every time you wait for a red light. If you are first in line at this time, the moment the green light turns on, the trinity of ignition, starting and acceleration, although this X7 does it faster, is much better than on a small displacement car. Oh, but it still feels very awkward. I guess it will take some getting used to. The braking feel is very similar to that of the X5. But it is quite different from the feeling of a German car. The brake pedal is relatively tight, but its braking process is gradual, which makes it very comfortable to step on. So much so that when I just returned to the 330, I felt uncomfortable. The point where the brakes go from high speed to standstill is about halfway through the brake pedal's travel. In short, this brake is quite comfortable to step on, and it does not make you feel that the car is heavy at all. This feeling is indeed quite high-end. Even if the car is driving on the highway, it will not appear that the car is going very fast. In fact, all above the performance should be expected at this price. It's just that many products now are sold at this price, but the experience in this aspect is not as good as these German products. The steering wheel is very comfortable to turn. It is relatively light at low speeds and relatively stable at high speeds. In addition, the steering wheel feels great. The vehicle's quietness is indeed quite impressive when compared with BMW's slightly cheaper cars. But if compared with competing products in this price range, it's not that outstanding. The sound of the engine, whine noise and tire noise have all been filtered, and it is actually relatively quiet when driving. But at this price point, it is not the best made, maybe because it wants to retain a BMW flavor. Generally speaking, if compared with the GLS, a competing product from a rival manufacturer that has the closest characteristics and positioning, the X7 is more comfortable for the driver to drive in this class. Maybe this is also the feeling that BMW has always been different from Mercedes-Benz products in its flagship products. Dynamically speaking, this 3.0 product can be regarded as a European full-size SUV product with high driving quality, BMW characteristics and comfort. In summary, this is the video of this 2024 BMW X7 xDrive40i model. In terms of appearance, the biggest change is its front face, which adopts the unified and latest design style of the current BMW family. The interior has been upgraded with many of the family's latest common components, such as curved screens, iDrive 8 system, and shift buttons. These are all moves closer to the family that keep pace with the times. The driving feeling is not much different from the previous BMW X7. It has a certain sense of German comfort without completely losing your sense of the road. This feeling is what distinguishes BMW from other brands in this luxury flagship car. Of course, this also attracted countless auto fans. Although the size of this car is definitely large in Europe. Don't talk about it, the X5 is considered indeed large in Europe. However, in the US market, the space performance of the third row and trunk of full-size SUVs is still difficult to satisfy. If you have a strong need for both a trunk and a third row, this car may not be able to meet your needs. In my opinion, the market segments targeted by BMW X7 and Mercedes-Benz GLS are relatively consistent and may be somewhat different from other products currently on the market. Both of them have a high-end style in terms of body size and driving texture. The consumers it targets also have certain requirements for the texture of the car body and the level of luxury. At the same time, the third row of seats is sometimes used, not for long-term use. For friends who have needs in above regard, I think you can take a look at this car. Of course, still the same word, buy which you like, don't control, don't be shy. Thank you for the above video.